All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Friday night is not the normal time, but thank you for being here as always. So, Mateo, thank you for the 5x5. Yeah, whatever, dude. American, Adam, Prep to Adapt, Landfill, Joe, Flown Grown, Ron, Countess, Mighty, Jeep Dog, thank you for 5x5. Devil Dog, Joanne, Winston, Juan, Elaine, Crow, Christopher, Water Tiger, Alpha, Lisa, thank you to 5x5. Nancy, Johnny D, Kate, Digital, thank you to 5x5. Dana, Thomas, Mr. T, thank you for the 5x5. Nice green hat. Bill, thank you for the 5x5. JD, thank you for the 10x10. WTC, Bobby, thank you for the 5x5. Carlos, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it, guys. Forest Dog, Champion, thank you for the 0x0. If you're for real with that, adjust your YouTube. Well, then you wouldn't be able to hear me. Anyway, guys, thank you for the 5x5. Now you're on a diet again all week? No, I fell off the diet big time yesterday. That shit went out the window. But I did jump back on during the week. So let's see where I end up in 2 weeks. Joel is asking, what does 5x5 mean? Same old shit, different day. Pretty much. Same shit, different day, man. Hey, with everything going on, with the election now being won, with the election now being won, and there's so many. I mean, look, guys, you could spend hours on Instagram and or X, Twitter. You could spend hours on it listening to liberals and their crying. There are liberals that are still wanting Trump to sleep forever. They don't want this man to live. They are that angry. People are like, I hope someone, puts a bullet in him. They're like all kinds of, and I mean like hours. And then some of the I don't want to say the rational thinking because it's not rational thinking, but some of the liberal thinking is out of control. I can't believe half the things I can't. What's it that lady's Joy Reid? Is that her name? The black chick with the ugly chick, the ugly fucking the Negro on. I think it's MSNBC or whatever channel she's on. I only catch the clips of her on other people's channels, and I don't know how this lady still has a show. 90% of the shit she says is just an outright lie. And then you have the other one, the Bull Dyke. What the hell's her name? She looks like Katie Lane, but uglier. And glasses. I forgot her name. But, like, how do these two ladies keep a show on? I don't understand how that's a possibility. But anyway, yeah, so Joy Reid is just like everything out of her mouth is a lie. Not Oprah. The other ugly one. The Katie Lang looking chick. She looks like a dude. No. I was thinking of the wrong person. Not Ellen. She's a brunette. She has her own talk show on. Is it CNN or MSNBC? I can't think of who it is. But Joy Reid and her, just the shit that comes out of them. Thank you, Rachel Maddow. Adam, appreciate it, right? And see, I said that, and people go, "Oh, hey, Rachel Maddow." I was like, "Yes, her." Yeah, and just the shit that they spew. It's like it's just a straight like. Keep in mind, people with YouTube channels who are telling the truth are getting their shit canceled, right? Videos are being deleted, channels are being shut down, and all of these people are getting in trouble. They're getting strikes. They're getting demonetized. Like I said, channels are being deleted forever. And meanwhile, Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow are continuously lying. Every day they open their mouths on their show. They sit there and they spew lies. The worst kind of lies. And yet, of course, they get to stay on. Meanwhile, everybody else is telling the truth or facts, talking out against the arm ticking out. There's more people talking out against the arm ticket like you wouldn't believe. There's so many studies that there's a lot of videos on the YouTube channel. Oh my God, I think I'm stroking out this week. There's so many videos that I'm gonna have coming out on the Angry Truth channel talking about the arm ticket. There are things, guys, like the fertility rate dropping dramatically after this thing was introduced. You have women whose hormones are off, their menstruation are off. They're either bleeding all the time or not bleeding at all. Miscarriages through the roof. All of that, guys, is now coming out in multiple studies around the world. Not even just here in the United States, around the world. And yet, channels got deleted or demonetized for talking out against it and talking out at the time out of term of what the arm ticket did. And the arm ticket, as they all said, wasn't going to provide the protection, and here people are getting fucking canceled left and right. Meanwhile, Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow could sit there and just lies. Nothing but lies. Or take a situation and blow it up out of proportion. Like the Mexican president. I had a feeling that the conversation was a good conversation. I feel like she said one thing and turned around and said something else just to embarrass him. Because there's no way, guys, that Trump is that stupid to sit there and lie to us knowing that she was going to say something else if in fact it was a lie. So the fact that he sat there and said it was a good conversation and then she turned around and said that's not exactly what I said, I'm like, all right, bitch, now you're lying. Now you're trying to make him look stupid by any means necessary. And I think a lot of world leaders who are on the side of Kamala Harris and Biden are going to, for the next 4 years, continue to make him look stupid. They're going to have one conversation, and Trump is going to go to Twitter or whatever the fuck it is, and he's going to be like, oh, we had a great conversation. They agreed to this. And then that party's going to turn around and go, yeah, no, that didn't happen. Just to embarrass him. So, yeah. What about the blood banks? What about the blood banks? What do we... Oh, okay, so Tom, there was a... When I went to give blood 2 years ago was the last time I went to give blood. Actually, I didn't give blood that day. I went in, I said, I have to wear what on my face? I said, no, thank you, and I walked out. That was a little short-sighted of me. Maybe I should have just, dealt with it and gave blood, because the giving of blood is way more important than my bullshit with the face coverings. But anyway, they had asked me if I had taken the arm ticket before I gave, and I asked them why, and they said because they were going to separate the blood. Now, what I found out, guys, is that a lot of blood were clotting. So, if that was the case, and that's why they really wanted to separate it, that makes sense now. Because they probably separated and saw the bad shit go, what the fuck is going on with that? And with that, this is why they wanted to separate it. So anyway, all of the things going on, all of the liberals are still crying. We are just about a month in from him winning, and they're still crying about it. And all of these emergency meetings that are not being mentioned online, I can't find anything on emergency meetings with the Biden administration. Though there are insiders saying that there's a lot of emergency meetings going on from the time he won the election till now. It is why Kamala Harris had that drunk look when she gave that. She was drunk. I told people all the time she's an alcoholic, and everybody's like, how do you know? I'm like, I said, I guess you haven't been in the medical field long enough. Any medical professional, whether you're an EMT, nurse, doctor, surgeon, a dentist, a podiatrist, you're going to look at this lady and go, man, was she drinking? We know the telltale signs of a drinker. She has it. She has the movement, the wobbliness, the off balance. The bitch needed fucking vodka just to top herself off in the morning to give a speech. She had the slurred speech that went along with it. And it's years of being an alcoholic. Not like she was an alcoholic because she was running for president. She's been drinking for years. And so she's probably coming down with something called wet brain, which is like sort of like a dementia-induced alcoholic effect, right? So it's induced by alcohol, and she's probably getting that. I can guarantee you guys, in the next couple of years, especially being that she's probably hitting the bottle really hard, I would say probably in another 5 years or so, they're gonna do what's up with Kamala Harris, and she's gonna be all fucked up. If she doesn't go to what you call it, if she doesn't go to a facility, she's gonna be screwed. She's gonna be 1,000% screwed. So not that I care two shits about her. It sucks watching somebody, even with a little bit of brain power, look like shit in the end. You know? So more wine. Kamala said more wine. Waterlogged brain with bruise, right. Or wet brain. Okay, werewolves are real. Grandma was an alcoholic, same. Yeah, like listen, if you've been around Betty Ford Clinic, yeah. If you've been around alcoholics, anybody who's been around alcoholics will look at Kamala Harris and go, yeah, that's an alcoholic for you. And I've been saying that, and guys are like, are you kidding me? Why? It's serious? And guys that don't even like her, like, why would you say that? I'm like, I guess you're not paying attention, right? And now some of it's starting to come out, and people are like, I guess you were right. I know I was right. I was right because I fucking said it. One, two, because I pay attention to people enough to know the ins and outs of a person, how they're going to respond, how they're going to act ahead of time. 9 times out of 10, I'm right when it comes to that. So I can look at a person and go, oh, that guy's a dick. 1,000% dick. And sometimes it's a dick in a good way, sometimes it's a dick in a bad way. But nonetheless, when you look at, for example, Michelle Obama, you knew something was off about that lady. And then come to find out, she's swinging the ding-a-ling, right? So, again, you just look at enough people over time, man. If you pay attention to them, you pay close attention to them, you'll see it, No, no one's going to miss Kamala Harris. Well, no, that's a lie. So there was a guy on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. And he took a picture. He going, people wore MAGA shirts when Trump lost. Guys, we should, and it's guys for Harris or men for Harris or whatever it is. He's in a post. He's like, maybe we should wear our Kamala T-shirts for the next 4 years. I was like, what? What? I was like, yo, no, that's not a dude. Nah, for nothing. He took a selfie in a gym mirror with his Kamala Harris shirt on. I'm 1,000% sure I could safely say he's gay. Because who would do that? Wet brain sounds racist. Wet brain sounds racist. It does. It does. But, no, it's funny. A lot of people are catching on to the whole Big Mike thing. I remember years ago when I said that Michelle Obama was a dude. I remember when I said it, and people were like, you fucking kidding me? What kind of conspiracy theory shit is this? Like, everybody knows I love conspiracy theories, so that was the first go-to. But I started showing people the videos of, like, the Michelle Obama videos of the dick swinging thing, and guys are like, I'm like, yo, and then look at this one. She's coming down the stairs, guys. She's doing the universal, let me shift my dick to the left because it's getting pinched in my underwears. That whole thing. And, she was, like, batting, and I'm like, yo, look. Right? And then she's got a big neck, big hands, like monster hands, like, Like, that must be scary coming at you at night. She's probably fucking always choking out Obama anyway. But anyway, gay men for Garris. Yes, exactly. But, so, here we are. Trump's not even in office yet. Even, who is it, the Pennsylvania senator, the Bigfoot dude, right? The guy that looks like a fucking slob as a politician. Even he's like, yo, pace yourself. He's like, he's not even in office yet, and the liberals and Democrats are still carrying on. Therefore, all of the emergency meetings that they're having, obviously no one's really talking about it, and I guess they're not talking to the media about it, though the media, or certain media sources, are mentioning it. But they can't confirm what's being said in the meeting. And so, I don't know what the fuck they're going to pull. They're pulling something. If they're having this emergency meetings, something's up. So, With that being said, someone just said false flag to make Musk president, so predictable. Mike Mulholland, excuse me. No, that's not predictable, so stop. I like when people also always, they'll say, this is going to happen, I guarantee it, and then it doesn't happen, and then you look for them to make the comment like, yo, what happened? I thought, like, Musk is not going to be president. Musk doesn't have what it takes to be president, and he's too fucking weird. Featherman looks like Gorlock. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even do that to him. Oh, Smile, the nukes are not coming. The chances of a nuclear war and civil war, which we're going to talk about, is very small. Now, I was reading something about civil war, and somebody broke down what it would take to get there, and they said it would take a lot to get to civil war. And remember when I said a couple years ago that we were going to face a civil war, and then my stance started changing slowly because I started realizing I don't think we're going to see it because I don't think people want to fight. But when I saw what I saw with the election, I'm like, maybe. But now I'm back to, I don't think we're going to see it. Maybe in a lifetime, but we're not going to see it now. There's just too much to risk. Too many people don't want to lose the comfortability of their life right now. And I said that about other things. I said, we're not going to fight if, for example, if the election was taken from us. We're not going to fight because we're all too comfortable in our lifestyles right now. Nobody wants to lose their lifestyle. It would take something gargantuan to change our focus and us not being comfortable anymore to then fighting. But like I said, as long as we are pseudo comfortable, we're not going to see civil war. I'm like a firm believer in that right now. And then I read an article today that just sort of said the same thing. We're just too comfortable in our ways. Some false flag here will be blamed on Russia. Well, yeah, listen, I don't put any... Russia, guys, believe it or not, maybe so, Russia is the enemy. I don't understand why people do not understand that. It's a simple... They'll always be our enemy. Always. Even when President talks to Putin and makes things calm, they're always not going to like us. That's just how it is. And whether they do something or not, it's irrelevant. You can't prove it and I can't prove it. If it's us, the CIA, that does it, then what? What about December 3rd AI prophecy? Nothing's going to happen December 3rd. What is the AI prophecies? Because there is an AI Jesus. I saw a glimpse of an article somewhere about the new AI Jesus. I was like, wait, what? That can't be good. And Musk can't run for president anyway. He wasn't born here. Right. Isn't he like South African? I forgot about that. Well, sick and ghastly. That's the problem with this. If something happens to Trump, he doesn't get into office, the election's not certified, that keeps Biden and Kamala Harris in office. Biden would step down, like you said, Kamala Harris would become president, but they have to hold an election, a special election or whatever it is, to then vote again. So how are they going to do that, and who's going to be the front runner? Now, it would be Vance running again, but he would need a very good sidekick to help him win that quick-ass election. Right? And how long does that take? That's what I don't know. I do not know how long that special election would take to vote a president. I don't think we've never had that in our lifetime. I know that for sure. We haven't seen a president not get into office after an election and then hold a special election to see who they're going to pick. Jared, what's going on, man? 20-year recovering sex addict. Very nice, man. But yeah, I mean, what's the steps if that was to actually happen, right? I mean, they are entertaining that. I did hear somebody talk about going through the legal route of what to do next if he can't get certified. Because one of the other things that we're going after was his cognitive abilities. They're trying to say that Trump his cognitive abilities are not there, and that they might need to reject the certification of the election to keep Kamala Harris and which call in to pick somebody else. That's a rumor. Putin said Trump still wasn't safe. Did he say that? Listen, guys, the one thing about Trump, anything happening to Trump right now, is that if anything happens to him right now, that means his fucking Secret Service agents just laid on the ground. And they didn't even do anything. Matter of fact, they're like, listen, just walk out there. Yeah, keep walking. You're good. Yes, Mr. President, keep walking here. And then, like, nobody around him, Nobody on the rooftops of anything. Like, that would be fucking... I don't think they're certified separately. I don't think so. I am going to look more into it, but I don't think they're certified separately. Rerun an emergency election. Roger said rerun an emergency election. Yes, but then how does the process go? Does Vance get to then step up and pick a vice president? Does Trump get to run again if they're challenging his cognitive disorder? Yeah, that's the Tish in progress. That's what I don't understand. Biden is out of control. Like, he is gone. And somehow they still, and again, this is all the rumors that are going on, that nothing can be confirmed and or denied, which I find very interesting. So, anyway, with that, is, like, civil war a possibility? Yes. Civil war is always a possibility, but if you ever follow the first Civil War, or any Civil War for that matter, around the world, it takes a lot to get there. And it takes a couple of years. In some cases, it's a flash war because it happens over, of course, of a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months. For us, it would take a couple of years to get there. And it would take a split down the middle for Civil War to happen. And we don't have that split down the middle. Because though we did see a lot of people vote for Trump who were Democrats this time, if push came to shove, there's just too many different factions for it to be civil war and for any one side to win. It's just too many factions out there. You got a group of people who think they're going to take America back. You got another group of people who want to hold the Constitution and keep it and protect it. You got another group of people who want to destroy the Constitution, want nothing to do with it. But then you got another group of people who are jealous of that group, who want to destroy the Constitution, and start fighting with them. So then we got fucking 6 different groups in this country fighting about who's going to take the country over. It's never going to happen. I just don't see it. It's something egregious and or, again, gargantuan has to happen for civil war to be set off. And again, the more research I started looking into it, I started looking into different things. You got certain CEOs saying civil war is going to happen. These people are not fucking... just because they're a CEO doesn't make them smart or intellectual in the matter of political theater and or war. Right? So... And we do outnumber the left. But listen, you have the left that... I saw a kid. I don't know. He wasn't a kid. He was a grown man. But he looked like he was a kid. He was built like pickup sticks. He was all skinny and shit. He was like fucking looked like he was sickly and had cancer. He was like, I'm going to fight off the right. And he had like his vest on and glasses and a M4 or fucking AR, whatever it was, hanging around his neck. Like he was Tactical John. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm going to train because it's coming, guys. And I'm like, really? You could blow on this dude and he fucking whoop, fly away. This little dude talking about get some. I'm like, wait, what? How's that going to work? He couldn't even fucking stand up straight with the fucking rifle hanging around his neck. He was like leaning forward. I'm like, did I fucking just see that? You should have seen him, man. He was just like, oh man. He was like if Pee Wee Herman wore glasses, had cancer, and was on his 16th radiation treatment. That's what he looked like. He was all fucked up. He was like, I'm going to get some. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to get very dead. Or if a gust of wind blows just the right way, he's going to fly away. That gun was anchoring his ass down. I was just like, holy shit. He just thought he was the shit. And that's the other problem I'm seeing I see a lot of dudes on the right and the left think that they're fucking tactical Johns. They're all fucking like, they watch the movie and then they get their rifles and they start practicing around the home and how they're gonna fucking take out the bad guy. You know, fucking, what is that? Slicing the pie, right? And then fucking going around the corners and then pulling out their side in their home, you know, and then fucking watching John Wick and thinking they can pull it off. Then they go to the gun range and they start trying to John Wick the fucking clown ball targets. Get the fuck out of here. You can John Wick the clown ball targets all you want. Those clown ball targets are not moving, you know. But anyway, it's just, I see this shit so much on the internet and people like meet and I'm like, no man, it ain't even that fucking real. The shit you're gonna run into if you get into a gunfight is gonna be something unlike you have never seen in your entire life. You just won't. The shit that's gonna fucking, I mean, first of all, the first pop that goes off, everybody who thinks they're tactical John, everybody, left and the right, are gonna scramble. No one's gonna stand there and go boom, 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 boom. No one's gonna do that. They're gonna fucking, everybody's gonna hit the ground. And then a couple of guys will get up and start firing without looking at first, because they don't want to get hit. Then you get into the motion, then you start fucking looking. Now, if they're military, they're probably gonna drop and start taking a shot without like looking for cover, or maybe they'll run for cover, and then they'll take the shots as they get eyes on the target. But all the tactical Johns, you're gonna see some fucking, it's gonna be like a Three Stooges kind of thing with like fucking 20 dudes just running in different directions. And I tell people, you want to know what a shooting looks like? Look at actual shooting videos. Look how that goes down. That does not go down the way you think it is. In your head, the way a shooting goes down is not what goes down in real life. Just not at all. You know? You got people fucking like, you know, you got people, you know, sitting there like, oh, if that happens, I'm going to do this. Okay. All right. Listen, when I was an EMT, I remember I thought that when there was going to be an MCI, mass casualty incident, they don't call it that anymore, but a mass casualty incident, MCI, I thought I was going to get to the scene and I was going to be helping people. I was going to be like, you, bandage, you over here, you know, like I was like, that's what I thought I was going to be. You get to your first MCI, which was the Trade Center, World Trade Center, 9/11. That's the MCI you go to? That shit didn't happen. Shit was fucking chaotic. People were still coming out of the building hurt, wounded, and bleeding. You had fucking one lady setting up EMS boss. I forgot her name, Amy something, setting up the triage right in front of the Millennium Hotel. You had people setting up triage in the center of the Trade Center. People were screaming and running around, and everything that was supposed to go down did not go down. You were supposed to tag people, whether that was fucking green to black, black being dead. Green and yellow were most of the people that were coming out of the building. Red and black, they didn't make it out of the building. A lot of them didn't make it out of the building. Actually, sorry, one guy did. One red did. He was fucking burnt to a crisp. Skin was falling off. He looked like the guy from RoboCop. Remember the Clarence's boy, the guy that got the acid on him? He's like, oh, and then they fucking hit him and he exploded. There was a guy that walked out of the building like that. Skin dripping off his body. He didn't know what the fuck to do. He was in shock. And he came out, he was just like, he was looking around, and I was like, oh, over there, the fucking here. And then I yell at the EMTs, like, get this fucking guy. And they get him, they put him in the ambulance, and they don't waste any time. They stripped him, they tried to take some of his clothing off, they closed the door, and they took off. None of it works according to plan, ever. So you just have to be comfortable with the chaos that's going to unfold when you end up in a situation like that. Do not sit there and think that you're going to be a superhero with your fucking foot on the ledge, hands on your hip, looking around going, yeah, I got this. It's not going to happen. I remember that RoboCop scene. Yeah, so, I mean, it's you have to be comfortable with a situation not going according to plan. You have to be comfortable with the situation falling apart as it's starting to come together. Right? So, always keep that in the back of your head. And if you can keep that in the back of your head, if you can keep that shit when it happens, you'll be fine. You think anything else, you're going to fucking lose. Yes. Outlaw 6, Murphy's Law. I'm telling you, and those of you that have been in the military, who've been in combat, you know what I mean. You know how shit just doesn't work out the way you think it is. Sometimes it does. You know, like sometimes we'll go to a fire and it goes according to plan. We stretch the line, you open it up, you put the fire out, you pull fucking ceilings, you crack walls open. If there's a body there, you drag it out. And things go according to plan. But sometimes it falls apart, and you have to know how to adjust when it falls apart. That's more important than anything. Anyway, other than that, sorry for wasting your time with that bullshit. But let's move it right along. So, guys, of course, today's question was, are you ready for civil war or nuclear war? And I think most of us are ready for either one. This is why we prepare, right? We prepare because anything can happen. And to prepare for just civil war or just a nuclear war or just one thing is not smart. You just need to prepare for it all. So it should cover for everything in case anything happens, right? You don't want to be prepared for just floodings and then you have some crazy shit like, I don't know, a snowstorm hit for some reason. You know, your preps should be able to cover any and all emergencies that hit you. That being said, are we on the brink of civil war? There is 1 in 3 chance on the brink of civil war. Excuse me. There's a 1 in 3 chance that a civil war break down. This is according to a billionaire. Now, again, I told you before, guys. I'll tell you again. Billionaires are not always right. Forget that they're not always right. They're not right. But before we get into the article, which I just put in the chat, here's the rundown for the rundown tonight. Multiple states, guys. I feel like, as far as civil war goes, are going to push back against Trump's deportation plan. You got cities that are going to push back against Trump's deportation plans, right? So, is that going to lead to civil war? No, absolutely not. It's just it could definitely start building more building blocks to get to civil war. To get to civil war, there's a building block of things that need to happen to get us there, or a bridge, if you will, to get us to that point, which would take a lot. Do you have potassium iodide tablets? I do. I think I have to get new ones, though. I think mine might be pretty old. I had a bunch before when I was like making bug out bags, and I only have maybe 3 left, 3 packets left. Civil war is not likely, but violence could increase. Not that it will, that it could increase. Again, certain violence from certain groups getting us there. And then there are 3 states to look at for civil war to pop up most likely. Not that it guarantee will, it's not 100%, but 3 states. The 3 states are upstate New York, not Manhattan, obviously, because we're gay, Michigan, and then Eastern Oregon. Not entire Oregon, but Eastern Oregon. Those are the 3 states that they say if civil war was to pop off, it would start there first. There are curveball states like Tennessee, what's the other one? Not Minnesota, Washington State, and there was another state. Like curveball states, if something was to happen, it would happen there. Do you have a lactate agreement? No, I don't even know what that is. I have no clue what that is. But anyway, so according to this article, guys, billionaire investor Ray Dalio, I really got him right, has raised concerns about the future of the United States, saying current political climate has created a 1 in 3 chance of civil war. I do not know where he got that math, but this is what he is saying. So the billionaire is Dalio, if I said that right. In an interview with Financial Times this week, Mr. Dalio described how the polarization of American politics has contributed to an extremely turbulent time in history. Probably the most turbulent time. Well, no, I wouldn't say. I think the original Civil War, there was a lot of turbulence in that time. Jarrett, man, thank you for the donations. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support. We are now on the brink, Mr. Dalio told the news outlet, adding that he sees a 35 to 40% chance of a second civil war. He clarifies that civil war he sees is not the one where people grab guns and start shooting, but one where people stop seeing the middle ground of politics. But he imagines people move to different states that are more aligned with what they want and what they don't follow, the decisions of federal authorities, something like Texas. And we see it now. But the problem is liberals keep ruining that. That's probably why we won't see civil war. Stop being gay is out of vogue. What? All right, whatever. So yeah, the problem is you got people who like move to Texas, but then you had a lot of Californians move to a lot of cities in Texas, ruin that. Then you had Californians moving to New Mexico, Arizona, ruining that. Then now you have a lot of Californians moving to Tennessee. Gatlinburg is one of the heavier areas that they're flooding. So as long as liberals keep infecting every state they move into, trying to move them to a state that aligns with your purpose is never going to be an issue. Whatever. Let's see. Studies have shown that Americans are growing more politically polarized now than ever before. A Pew Research poll found that only 32% of Americans have a roughly equal number of conservative or liberal positions, compared to 49% in 2040. I'm sorry, 2004, 2040. I'm reading into the future. Contentious election cycles are becoming more common, which contributes to the growing rift between both political parties. So it looks like the conservatives number dropped from 32%, from 49% to 32%. That's weird. I thought it would have gone up. Shit. All right, 20 minutes. All right, social media has made it easy for the like-minded extremists to connect and support each other, which emboldens people to take radical actions, like those who organized protests and eventually stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. It was ultimately Donald Trump's false claims of a widespread election fraud in the 2020 election that led to the extreme and violent actions of that day. His refusal to call off his supporters and continue claiming the election was taken from him has justified their actions that day. Now, he did call for people to go home. The media like this, they will continue to lie and say that he didn't call him home and that it was his fault. Listen, I was there that day. He had not one time said, hey, get in the Capitol and stop the election. He told people to peacefully walk over. He didn't say peacefully walk over, but if you want to act like assholes, go ahead. That never came out of his mouth. But the media will continue to lie. Anyway, even now, as more Republicans echo his claim and refuse to believe the 2020 election was done fairly, it has inspired his supporters to continue backing him and ignoring any criticism from the other side of the aisles. Well, no one's ignoring it. We take it in and then we fucking ignore it. Anyway, Mr. Dario, who's founded Bridgewater Associates, said upcoming 2024 election will be a test of democracy. Will there be an acceptance of the rules or an ability to work well under those rules? So obviously nothing happened, right? I thought we were going to see some political violence. And again, that was according to the FBI and other police sources, and nothing happened. Whatever. Am I disappointed? Absolutely not. Trump will follow more rightist, nationalistic, perfectionist and non-regulatory policies and more aggressive policies to fight enemies internally and externally, including political enemies. Biden, and even more so the Democratic Party without Biden, will be more opposite, though they too will play political hardball. Isolationist. Jesus, that took me fucking forever to say that. So, 20 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Lamfield. Yes, guys, on the Angry Truth channel, we're going to talk about whether or not Donald Trump will make it into the office. Will he make it to the White House come 2025? That is the big question. And what are they going to do to stop them? So there's a couple of things we're going to talk about later tonight at 10:10. I normally start it right after this. If I got everything set up, I do have to jump on a phone call for about 5 minutes. So I'll probably start it at 10:05. But I have an important phone call to make in 20 minutes or so. Anyway, so the gist of it is, guys, that article saying was more likely. But there are a few other articles that say that civil war is not likely, nor should we be concerned. And again, being that now that I'm looking into more of this shit, and these guys make sense, these liberal doctors or professors, they do make sense, and I'm taking what they're saying with not the grain of salt, but I'm listening to what they're saying, and then I'm putting it in the back of my head. But a lot of what they're saying makes sense. To get to civil war is going to take a lot. Because, again, we are so comfortable in our lifestyle. Nobody wants to give that up. Nobody wants to run around the streets of New York City, firing at somebody. Or, not enjoying their life. Because we have comfortabilities now. A lot of countries that went into civil war, they were faced with hardships. True hardships. The problem with us is we don't have hardships here. We don't. We like to think we do. We like to think we have it bad here. We do not have it bad here. Here in the United States, we have it better than most. Robert, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. We have it better here than most countries, and that's just a simple fact. But as long as we have that comfortable status here, I don't see us breaking into an all-out fight. I just don't. So anyway, there was one more article based on the Civil War I wanted to read. This is sort of a Q&A, right? But this is based on a movie. So the reality behind Civil War, the movie, and the possibilities of a real second Civil War happening. Let me put that article in the link. It's more like a Q&A. But NPR's Andrew Limbach talks to Amy Cooter, what a name, of the Middleburg Institute of International Studies about how realistic an idea of a second Civil War is. So, Andrew Limbach, the host, in the near future, the U.S. president has given himself a third term. He abandoned the FBI. America has broken into various factions that are engaged in armed conflict. This is the premise of one of the buzziest films of this year, the A24 thriller Civil War, directed by British filmmaker Alex Garland, which is a good filmmaker, by the way. The dystopian thriller images a near future in which a deeply divided United States is violently caught in, the next Civil War. So now they throw in the cut from the movie, and then the cut from the movie is, are you guys aware, and this is the black actor in the movie, are you guys aware that there's like a pretty huge civil war going on across America? The female behind the counter, we just try to stay out of it. With what we see on the news, it seems like it's for the best. So that's the experts from the movie. So Limbach, that's the interviewer. The film may be fiction, but has many viewers and pundits thinking about the parallels to the reality in the United States that does often feel more and more polarized. But just how close is the film's reality to our own? To unpack that question, we called Amy Cooter. She is a director of research at the Center of Terrorism, Extremists, and Counterterrorism at the Millbury Institute of International Studies. And then they go, welcome, Amy. Thank you for having me. Whatever, suck a dick. Let's go. Move on. All right. So Limbach's first question. How much is this like art is life, life is art kind of deal? Should we be wary of reading too much into the perils of real life? And this is Amy Cooter's answer. I think that it presents some real undercurrents that we have in the United States. I don't think that civil war is imminent, but I think that some people who wish we could have one and wish that they could be effectively cultured soldiers to reenact the Civil War order that they see as a better for them and their families. Limbaugh, when you say some people, who are those people? Cooter's answer: the group I study tend to be folks who are militia members of an extremist end of the spectrum, or other folks who believe that some version of society that they believe exists in the past is better than what we have in modern day. I think she's talking about the KKK. But they should do something to try to move us back to the past format. They should do something. Okay, I did read that right. Limbaugh: most Americans do not foresee civil war, according to recent polls. More than 40% of Americans think civil war is at least somewhat likely in the next decade. Is there a realistic scenario that could lead the U.S. at least to the verge of civil war? Cooter's answer: I certainly hope not. I hope I'm saying her name right, because it sounds fucking weird. I certainly hope not. I hope that our federal government, our state's government, remains organized enough that armed militant groups who try to stir up various sorts of trouble can be controlled with the letter of the law. However, I think that we are at the moment of extreme political division that may get worse before it gets better. And there are certainly some people who believe that they and their families are going to be put in a position where they have to defend themselves, whether it's against the government itself or against other factions that they see as being opposite of their interest. I'm not going to read this whole article. Last question. There's a few other questions. The last question: does history have any lessons that could be instructive to understanding the threat of civil war in this country? Cooter: I think that as a sociologist, we tend not to be super optimistic. But one note of optimism that I do try to latch onto is that we have had moments of extreme divisiveness in our country before extreme political polarization. So far, at least, democracy has won out and become increasingly inclusive over time. I think there are many people who are pro-democracy who want to make this country a better place than are smaller factions who want to be disruptive for everyone. And then there's a bunch more questions. You guys could read it in the article ahead. Okay, this is the last question, because I like this question. Excuse me. Do you think the U.S. government is adequately prepared? That's hard to say. My personal instinct is no. I think that various different government agencies have done more to be prepared for January 6th, but I also sense sort of a belief that was a one-off occurrence, and therefore we don't have to worry about these folks so much anymore. We aren't really expecting another J6, but I think we are underestimating the risk that different state buildings may face, or different politicians as individuals may face, an even more flashpoint of violence around the election or school board happening as they continue to move forward this year. This article was written this year. And then at the end of the article, thank you for having me. Yeah, shake a dick, and then they leave. So, 10 minutes left. Whoa. Sorry. $10 minutes left. Let's see. Now, there was an article where they said the study origins of Civil War, see indicators in the United States. This is the guy that was talking about that. The indicators that we're seeing now are not as bad. So there has to be a few indicators for Civil War, and we haven't seen any of those indicators yet. And one of the indicators is excessive violence from one group side. So whether that's the right or the left, if there's going to be an increased amount of violence throughout the country, not just in one spot, but throughout the country, we could possibly see Civil War. So there is that. And that's the other thing too. Somebody said it in my last live stream. They're more worried about a cyber attack. So Water Dude, thank you for the heads up. I'm a little more worried about that too. I think cyber attack is probably our most worrisome event to happen. Not so much a nuclear war. I'm not worried about a nuclear war. I mean, listen, like I said, Putin's been threatening us for fucking how long now? At some point, guys, you got to shit or get off the pot. And I don't see him getting off the pot. Right? So, I think Putin's going to continue to threaten us. People are going to continue to believe it's bullshit. You know, they have to, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. So, let me read this part of this article real quick. Well, this was how concerned should we be about the dangers of a nuclear war. Pretty much saying that we shouldn't be that alarmed about it. A lot of people seem to think that Putin is just doing that, blowing smoke up people's ass. Guys, if you do not mind, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. Just a friendly reminder. Get your thumbs in there and, flick them up. So, basically, in this article, they were just saying that the likeliness of a nuclear war is small. A tactical nuke being used, again, like I said, I think that's going to pause the world if that gets used. I don't think there'll be a knee-jerk reaction of, oh my God, he used a tactical nuke, and the nukes will start flying. I think that first nuke is going to pause everyone and everything. I think Putin's going to use a tactical nuke in an area of Ukraine that has little to no people, and he's going to detonate it, and then he's going to be like, the next one's going to be in your eyes kind of deal, whatever the fuck he's going to say, and then that's that. Right? So, that's pretty much what the article was talking about. It was also talking about the Hiroshima bombing and Nagasaki bombing as well in the beginning of the article. That's why I didn't want to get too far into it. People who study the origin of civil war see indicators in the United States is on the brink of conflict. This is a Yale University study. All right, Yale history professor Timothy Snyder spoke with Insider about the future of American democracy. Let me put this in the story, rather, this article and a link for you guys to read. President Putin will never do it. Yeah, I don't think he will. We broke the treaty with Putin. I don't care what we broke or what we didn't break. None of that shit matters. He's not going to do it. And a lot of people are like, well, there was this, there was that. Listen, there is a lot more, guys, going on behind the scenes, and then what Putin is telling you or what Biden's telling you or what Zelensky's telling you. You guys got to take these people's word with a grain of salt. I know that Putin was rattling off documents and treaties that we broke, and Putin wanted Ukraine for a long time. Had nothing to do with us breaking those treaties. Nothing. And people believe, sadly enough, people believe that bullshit. That's the crazy shit. It's like believing Kamala Harris on why she lost the election. It's above me. It's like these people in like the Russian politics are just as bad as the United States politicians. Just as bad. The fact that people think Russia is better than the United States is bizarre. It doesn't matter what treaty we broke or we didn't break. Putin was going to have an excuse. Period. We could have followed everything and dotted our I's and crossed our T's. He would have been like, I don't like the way that E is shaped, and then we're going to start war. That's the kind of, not pussy, but he's like a tit-for-tat kind of guy. And you've seen it because he kills people in this country if they talk out against him. A simple fact. That Nicholas, dude that just died, Putin killed him. Because that was his adversary that he didn't like. That guy spoke out against him every chance he got, and now he's dead. And even his wife had said something about it, and I think his wife ended up sick with some crazy shit. Zelensky came out saying he would give up the land. Yes, I know that. King, thank you for bringing that up. Zelensky did say that he would give up part of the land to get NATO protection. Right? And so I think Putin is listening now. Putin's like, wait, what? You're going to give up how much land? Petty. Yes, thank you, John 308. Petty. Putin is very fucking petty. That is the pettiest man I've ever fucking seen. You follow Putin long enough, you see what he does in his country. He is a petty... Not even Putin. Russian politics have always been petty. If you speak out against them, you are in jail. Period. You speak out against American politicians here, you could burn American flags on the fucking ground. And no one's going to throw you in jail. In Russia, you burn the Russian flag, watch how fast you end up in the fucking clink. You're not going to make it. But somehow people are like, well, Russia's better. Okay. Do I agree with burning the American flag and all that shit? Absolutely not. But I'm just comparing their freedoms and what they can do and what we can do and what they can't do and what we still can do. It's mind-boggling. But anyway, now I find it interesting that Ukraine now is talking about peace, giving up land for peace. The Israel and Hamas situation looks like it's going to solve itself for a little while right now, right? But that was after they told Benjamin Netanyahu they had a warrant for his arrest. And then all of a sudden, a couple days later, he's like, you know what? Well, we could talk peace now. That's not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. That all of a sudden now, Benjamin Netanyahu wants to fucking create peace. Just doesn't make sense. He was bombing the shit out of them, and he was saying, we're going to keep moving forward. Then they're like, hey, listen, we're going to charge you with some fucking war crimes. He was like, all right, peace. Peace it is. They have something on Benjamin Netanyahu. They got something on him for him to all of a sudden do a 180. Never seen anything like that before. Nonetheless, guys, the political theater that we are told in the news, it is not whatever happens behind the scenes. Never. And that's the one thing that I understand. Even when I report this shit, I'm skeptical about what I'm reading. I'm like, that's probably not true. But nonetheless, I'm reading the articles. Because everything that happens, guys, and I mean, you could see it firsthand when you work for the city. You will see things happen, and then something else gets reported entirely different. You will see somebody get shot, and then the story gets twisted around to the cop did it because. You see this shit firsthand, you take it on a smaller scale here, then you blow it up and you magnify it 1,000 times, and that's what happens in the world. Maiden Revolution. I don't know anything about the Maiden Revolution, DJ Classic. Your type of bullshit keeps wars going. Yes, thank you, Smiles. It's all bullshit. That's what I try to convey to everybody. It's all bullshit. All of it. Anything that's going on right now between Israel and Lebanon, bullshit. Anything going on between Ukraine and Russia, bullshit. They're going to tell us one thing, something entirely different is happening. And then 30 years down the line, when we're all dead, they'll have a documentary about this shit and they'll tell you exactly what everything was. That's just how it is. Everything we're being told, guys, you need to be skeptical about it. Everything. I'm super skeptical about everything. There's nothing I look at and I go, oh man, that's real. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll read some shit and I go, maybe, but I try not to go too far off the edge of a psychosis where I don't believe anything and everything's a lie. Because everything pretty much is a lie. But some things you do have to take, for what it is. Festive angry chair. Yes, it is. But yeah, it's all BS. And then some of it is not. But when it comes to politics, 9 times out of 10 is bullshit. That's just a simple fact. 9 times out of 10, this bullshit is bullshit. And it gets bullshittier. When there's something that actually happens, even then, you take that with a grain of salt. Like the kid that was shot, the fuck was his name? Shit, I forgot his name. But they named the street after him and everything. This guy was a drug dealer. They made the cops look bad. They made a fucking Sean something. Forgot his name. But he got shot outside of a strip club or a club of some kind. And and the cops buried the story that he was a drug dealer, a known drug dealer in the neighborhood, and they named the street after him. He was the first George Floyd. And remember, George Floyd was a piece of shit, and they made the statues and shit of him. The ugliest man on this planet got a fucking statue named after him, or after him. That stupid, face he has on, the George Floyd face, they got statues of this guy that you got to look at now when you walk by it. Why did they pick the ugliest man to make a statue of? That's history for you. You look at a George Floyd statue, you're like, Jesus, that's ugly. What is that? Is that Planet of the Apes? No. Anyway, just kidding. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go off the air now. I got to handle a phone call. I will see you guys in about 5 minutes on the Angry Truth channel. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching me. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. Thank you for the donations. And I will see you guys later.